Hey everyone, this is Spoiler Alert. We are back after a small hiatus, and this week we are starting off talking about the first episode of What If. I've got Walt and Steve with me today. Dirk is unfortunately under the weather, so we're sending him all the good vibes and hoping he feels better.
Get better.
Yeah,
Echinacea.
spicy food, all that fun
And
stuff.
spicy
Healing
foods,
Stay
herbs, healing
hydrated.
herbs,
Stay
healing
hydrated.
herbs.
your
So
vitamins and the prayers and the hard work.
So I'm Beth, who ordered the calamari freely, and so today I am your hostess with the mostest, and let's just dive right into it. Um, Man, what if alternative Marvel scenarios? One little thing gets changed and the whole world gets screwed up. Kind of reminds me of Loki. Let's change something and botch up the entire timeline. So, what do you guys think? Let me know. Come on, let's hear from you.
I've said this before. What If was always one of my favorite comic books back in the day when I was a kid. So I've been looking forward to this, and I can say that I enjoyed it.
I never really read any of the comic books. That was well before I got into comic books. But I will say that the premise building up to this, the experience with the MCU up to this point, has really, really, really set the stage for what I expect to be a lot of exciting episodes. And I enjoyed the snot out of this. I hope everybody did.
Well, if you haven't watched it yet, you're going to get it completely spoiled. Yeah, just like Dirk here, who popped off with, "I got to get off of here. I haven't seen the episode yet." Yes, go,
Yes.
get out of here. You go watch the episode.
He had no sympathy for me when I jumped on here and I was like, I haven't seen The Mandalorian or I haven't seen.
He was
Yeah.
supposed to
Yeah.
watch that hours ago.
Right the hell where you are, Dirk.
You were supposed to watch that 2 days ago, Dirk. Sorry.
And hours ago, you were supposed to have watched this or that.
Think you're going to sneak on here and talk to us and not get ragged. Nice try.
What was it? It was like 9:00. I'm gonna go have breakfast and then watch the show.
I think it was more like 10 o'clock. He said he was going to go have breakfast because I remember sitting there thinking to myself, "It's almost lunchtime. What's up with this here?" Yeah. So
That's right,
okay.
Dirk. I got the bald guy quotient covered.
So I'm going to reserve my opinion on this whole TV show until I see the next episode. I love the premise. I was just not, and here comes the controversy. I was not impressed with it yet. Part of that is because I'm not a Peggy Carter fan. Let the nasty comments start. Dun, dun, dun.
I'll get it. I'll let you to jump on here in a British accent today. Come on.
Oh, please. I can do the British accent if you really need me to do it. Thank you very much. Don't ask me to do something, Steve. You ought to know I'll do it.
Okay.
So I'm going to throw this out there, and then I'll let you guys just, read me a new one for it. I felt that they made Peggy Carter extremely Mary Sue. As a writer, I cannot handle Mary Sue characters. Cannot do it. Yeah, she can sling weights, but women in World War II were not given that kind of basic training. They were not trained for combat. So where did combat training come from? How come she could go in and start, beating the daylights out of people and riding motorcycles up into a control tower and stuff like that? Steve had training. Where was Peggy's?
Did Steve really have training though?
Yeah, Steve went through boot camp.
Yeah,
He
well,
did go through boot camp.
Though? I mean, he was Steve.
He was winded, but the whole time.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say there are instances where women, like my mom grew up, a tomboy, and from what I learned from her oldest brother and her youngest brother, she was known to beat some guys up when she was a kid.
I have no doubt.
Yeah. My mother was a tomboy, and I still have her set of die-cast metal cap guns. So
yes.
I love the fact that your mother had cap guns. That's
Yes.
awesome.
My mom had cap guns, and whenever she got dolls, she either cut off all the hair or ripped all the heads off the dolls. So yeah, I can see a woman in secretly learning how to defend herself physically, and being upset that she can't prove herself amongst guys. I mean, it's the same thing with you could go along with like the Tuskegee experiment back in the day as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
There are a lot.
I mean, I can see it. I mean, yeah.
That to some extent, she is an agent, so she had to have had some kind of a military background and or just special ops background. So, it's neither here nor there, but it's kind of, you've got to think she's got to have some kind of training in there.
I would agree that she would probably have some sort of special ops training, but the physical training in and of itself, I mean, she goes from being, I mean, in a way it's similar with, with what Steve dealt with. Steve goes from being this skinny little person to, Mr. Buff, and everybody wants to touch his pecs, and
if you've taken the name Steve out, it sounds so much like my own story. It's
wow, amazing how that sounds like your story. I love it. But honestly, I just think some of the things that they depicted there was just a little Mary Sue-ish. She's the perfect woman. She can go in and she can do all of it, and she's going to prove herself doing it all. And it's like, yeah, I can't get on board with that.
I will say to this, and it's kind of like how the first, Captain America, the first Avenger movie was done. There's a tad bit of melodrama in it.
Yeah.
Because it is a period piece, and I think a bit of that kind of what you're getting out of it, what do you call it, makes that feeling stand out. Because there were a lot of people who saw the first Captain America movie and thought it was really cheesy, and they mentioned the melodrama, and I was like, that's the part of the movie that I really loved.
and I may go back and rewatch this and not find her quite as Mary Sue too. And it could just be me as a writer,
right?
So conditioned not to write my characters being able to, giving my female characters a little more vulnerability. Than what we see. I mean, we see her as a vulnerable person in the end of the first Captain America movie, Captain America First Avenger. I mean, she's visibly upset when she's talking to Steve and everything, but we don't see that kind of vulnerability in this. And while I realize it's alternate universe, it would have been nice just to have seen, we get a little hand touching, a little hand holding. We get we get the message that her and Steve have the hots for each other. But
you also have to take into account that it's only 33 minutes.
That too.
There is a monster switch between romantic, dramatic, and then all of a sudden one of the bloodiest, most violent shows I think of that's been rendered in the MCU to this point. It's amazing, the turnaround. I always thought that, the storyline between her and Steve was fantastic. But then when you put her in that suit, and I'm going to say that suit is fantastic.
That suit is fantastic.
Yeah, I'll give you that. The suit's great. It
changed her mindset, I think, just a little bit in from the here I can't. I'm being held down. I'm being kept back. I'm not being allowed to do these certain things as a woman. To they ain't gonna be jack that you can do to stop me from
right, right.
And I loved that aspect of it. I really did.
Yeah, and then the other thing that I also like is Steve Rogers is Steve Rogers. He's the same character in this, even though he doesn't have the super soldier serum. And the line when they're talking. They're just before they're about to kiss, and he mentions you want to be respected, and you see, for me, I caught that he knows exactly where she's coming from.
Yeah.
And it's just I don't see it that much as a Mary Sue as much as I get that from Captain Marvel, by the way, which I like that movie too. Just a little tad bit heavy on the Mary Sue,
that one too.
A lot.
But still, I still enjoyed the movie, and as that, I don't want to go too far off on that tangent and just get right back to
because if you will,
to what if.
But she had that realization too, or not realization, but she grew into the character.
She grew into the character, right?
That she started off, I'm just another Air Force pilot,
right.
And then all of a sudden she's so very not just another Air Force pilot. So
right.
I think there's a lot of correlation there.
Right. I mean, all in all, I think this was a great start for What If, and we've seen the little nuggets from the trailers of what we can expect, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they have next for us.
So, what is your thoughts on the Watchers who are narrating this entire series at this point?
Jeffrey Wright has got an awesome voice.
I have to admit something. I thought that initially when I heard the voice, and this is me going into it clean, I didn't watch any of the trailers, anything like that. And so I thought that initially that was Wendell Pierce, the guy from Jack Ryan. That's initially who I thought it was, but then it took me a second. I thought, no, I've heard that before. And it kicked in about halfway through the episode when he started talking about, in the laboratory when he goes, that's the moment. I was like, that's Jeffrey Wright. That's that's Felix Leiter. Sweet.
Yeah.
See, you know him as Felix. I know him as Bernard Lowe from Westworld.
From Westworld.
Sure. Yeah. But the narrator could not have been cast any better. It just that the voice will carry us through. And the first part of it, I was like, okay, his voice is just he's going to lull me to sleep, right? But then as his character built in, or as his narration built in, and actually was placed in the middle of the episode, I loved that. I loved it.
What's interesting about the characters of the Watchers is that we've seen something similar before with Loki.
Yes.
And it's going to be interesting to see if they're able to really tie it, with What If being such a different concept, or maybe a similar concept to Loki. It's going to be interesting to see how they tie the Watchers who are watching, over what is going on, especially this particular Watcher whose name in the comic books was Uatu, who was in charge of watching Earth. Are we going to, is this a preamble to something else we're going to see in the future for the MCU?
I actually had that thought. And my first thought was, okay, this is all they're going to take all of these, they're going to do the typical MCU thing. They're going to take all of these and they're going to tie it into some Watcher universe at the end of the series. I hope that's not the case. I hope that they actually allow this to be an anthology for anthology's sake and keep the series separate from everything.
The main MCU.
And not follow that pattern.
My thoughts on where I think they're going with this is, I think this whole season is going to be this one particular universe for the season. I got a feeling that they could go about doing this like the American Horror Story, where for a whole season we cover one universe and a multitude of characters in this one universe, and then the next season let's start all over again with something.
That's actually an interesting concept.
That would be very cool.
With something different, and like it would be a great way. I mean, when you think about it, it would be a great way to tell some of these other stories from the actual comics. Because I mean, if you look at the nuggets that they've given us in the trailers, and this is just me, and this is my theory. This is Walt Thompson's theory.
It is your theory, and your theory is
my fan theory that I will not, clutch with pearls. I'm not going to clutch onto this.
For First time
is
for
that we're going to get introduced to all these different characters, or all these different versions of our characters, and it's going to culminate with them coming together as a different group of Avengers at the end of the season, and we're going to see how that comes out, and then hopefully that'll just be the end of that thing. We'll just see like a retelling of Phase 1, a total retelling of Phase 1, and then go someplace else.
Which opens up definitely some interesting ideas, because we would have, in this case, Captain Britannia instead of Captain America leading possibly leading the Avengers. We already know Hawkeye's hanging out there with Nick Fury, so we already know that Nick has some sort of involvement, but who else are we going to gather up as we go through the rest of the series to make up this new Avengers team?
Right.
See, I warned you about this. Is where I'm going to get a little controversial.
Bring it on, Steve. Bring it on.
I kind of expected a lot more. While I enjoyed the episode immensely, I didn't really too particularly care for the fact that it was basically just a retelling of the first Avenger with a couple of character changes. That's what it felt like to me.
Well,
if it had been a real what if, and again, I never read the comic book, so I don't know to what extent they're going to go, or to what extent they care to go. But if they were going to do a real what if, it should have been just completely different storyline than just borrowing from the first Avenger, to me.
Well, that was the whole premise of the original What If comic book, where they would take a past storyline and say, well, what if Magneto didn't strip Wolverine of his adamantium? What would have happened if he never did that? And then I'm even looking forward to some funny ones, because and they talked about this last night on the regular Taskforce Geek show. There were what they called Assistant Editors Month, where all those issues were actually comical. So, like, what if Aunt May became a herald of Galactus, and she was the golden oldie?
Yes.
Oh my
So
yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Let's go. If we're going to go off, if we're going to go offline, let's go completely off our rocker, right?
And here's my other second fan theory of what they might do. They might do what. Whoops.
Hi, Beth.
Sorry.
They might do what Disney has done with Star Wars, specifically the Clone Wars, where they would have multiple episode story arcs. So there would be a story arc that went maybe 2-3 episodes, and you'd get a full story arc of a group of characters for 3 or 4 episodes, and then they'd cut to a single episode story. Like, for instance, and you and me, Steve, we went and saw the Clone Wars movie, the series movie. That was originally going to be the first 3 episodes of the series.
I remember that.
And then when the series started, it was a 1-episode series featuring Yoda. So I can see them doing 3 episodes that tie together for one universe, and then doing another episode where it goes off to another universe, because we were teased with the Marvel Zombieverse in one of the trailers. Yeah. So
yes, yeah. Yeah.
All right, I might be okay with that. Like you said, Beth, if this is 1 episode, let's see where they go from here. I will say, though, and to kind of kick us off on another direction, the animation to me left a little bit to be desired. I liked the quality, but it felt a lot like I was watching Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow.
Dan said the same thing. Dan wasn't. He usually doesn't comment on animation a lot, but that really kind of rubbed him the wrong way last night. Which I found the animation interesting, especially like looking at Bucky, because it looked like they literally had lifted him off the page of the comic book and slapped him down into the video.
Well, Flynn too. I thought Flynn was the same deal. I was like, wow, that's a really good.
Yeah, yes. So I was, I'm wondering if they were going more for that old comic book feel with the animation as compared to some of the
So-
other things.
One of the first. Sorry, Walter. Go ahead. I mean.
So what I noticed, and I particularly picked this up in the fight scenes, is the flow of Captain Carter's fights
Mhm.
reminded me a lot of the old Fleischer Superman.
Fleischer, yes.
And then on top of that, because it's all CGI as well,
Right.
and it's CGI. And then I also had a tinge of a feeling, a tinge of an anime feeling, combined with a little bit of Disney flair. So
A lot of Disney flair.
there was a
Was-
lot
was
of Disney
any-
flair and a
the one
lot
inst-
of Fleischer flowing.
The instance
was-
where the German officer, the big, huge German officer, comes out of the back of the truck and confronts her, little Fraulein, et cetera,
Yes.
and then she proceeds to whip his ass.
Fragile Fraulein.
Yeah, Fragile Fraulein. Thank you.
Fragile Fraulein.
When she punched, first of all, when she went for his kneecap, but then when she hit him again, that close up that they got of him right in the face, I was like, that is a Disney character.
That
template.
is a Disney character template.
That is a
Exactly.
Disney character template.
Right.
Was anybody else waiting for the kapow and wham to show up on the screen at times?
No.
a la old
No.
Batman.
No.
See, I was.
The way they did those were fantastic. It was so old school.
I did want to hear more of the old 30s big band music throughout that episode,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
I wanted to
Yeah.
hear a lot more of that.
It's expensive to license Glenn Miller.
So one of the things I noticed, going back to the Watchers real quick, one of the things I noticed was he made the comment of, then this happened, talking about Peggy not going up into the box and watching,
Mhm.
and that being the catalyst. Did anybody else notice that Hans Kruger was not up in the box either?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I did not.
Yes, Hans Kruger strikes again. He in the movie, Hans is up in the box and he leaves the bomb up there in the box after Peggy walks down
Right.
and almost touches Steve. In this version, we see Hans Kruger right there in the middle of the action. So which was actually the catalyst? Was it Peggy not going in the box, or was it Hans Kruger not going in the box?
Maybe a little bit of both.
It could
Maybe a
be.
little bit of
Yeah.
both, because maybe her decision to stay downstairs prompted his decision to stay downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
Which sets up him shooting both Tommy Lee Jones' character and Steve Rogers at the same time.
Yeah. Yep.
The bomb looked an awful lot like an Apple laptop. I'm just saying.
It did! Oh my gosh, it did!
I was like, okay, is this where the universe is cut off? Where instead of Steve Rogers, we're going to get Steve
Wasn't
Jobs?
it actually a cigarette case?
I think so.
I don't know if it was
but the
in the
scale
movie?
was indicated. It scale wise in just that little
Yeah,
Yeah, in
it
the
looked a little
movie it
big.
was
I was
in the
like-
movie it was a cigarette case. Yeah.
all
Okay.
that's missing is an Apple logo.
Yeah. I the whole time, I'm thinking, I'm like, oh, okay, so he doesn't get away with the vial, and she shoots him right there.
Mhm.
There's no big shootout in the street, so I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean she gets the full dose of the serum.
Yes.
And it was remarkable. I mean, like I said earlier, the direct rips from the first Avenger they kind of irked me a little bit. I mean, you can do frame by frame from that pretty much that entire lab scene, aside from the separation where Steve got in the capsule and et cetera. But in the capsule, once the procedure's done, the exit from the capsule, everything is almost a dead on rip from the movie, and I was just kind of like, oh.
I didn't mind that.
I don't know. I'm nitpicking, and I realize that, but it's still.
Well, I'm kind of with you, Steve. I would have liked to have seen something a little different with this. Maybe the capsule having been a little different, or
Well,
maybe.
even just the surroundings. Why does
Yeah.
it always have to be a dank lab?
Yeah.
What if this is happening in an emergency situation in an old barn out in the middle of nowhere? I don't know.
Well, and also it was almost a full rip, frame from frame, for when the Red Skull goes and gets the Tesseract. in the old Norway town.
Yeah.
With the
I'm
old
fine with that.
man.
I'm fine with all that.
Oh, and by the way, voice actors. The folks that covered the voice actors that weren't the original in the original movies
Mm-hmm.
were ridiculous. The guy that was playing Steve Rogers sounded exactly like
He
Chris
did.
Evans.
He did.
I actually had to
He
go
did.
and look it up when Walt told me that wasn't Chris Evans. I was like, really? And I actually had to go and look it up to see who it was, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, and the
Yeah,
guy from Red Skull, the guy
Yeah.
that did Red Skull, was
Ross
ridiculous.
Marquand.
Yeah,
He's if I remember correctly, he is in The Walking Dead.
And he also reprised the role for Infinity Endgame.
oh, that's
That was
true.
him.
That's
That
true.
was him.
Oh, okay.
That was him.
Okay.
That
From
was
Soul
him.
Stone. That's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was him who came back, or who was the Red Skull in that movie.
Do we know why
Keep
Hugo
it
Weaving
of
or
the
Chris
Soul
Evans
Stone.
didn't
He
get involved?
Weaving did not want to come back to do Red Skull at all. I don't know why Evans wasn't in there, but he's done a couple of movies since Endgame, and a lot of this stuff was done well before Chadwick Boseman died. So,
Right, yeah.
Well,
So-
I think Evans said that when he's done, he was done, and so
I don't know. There's
Hey,
rumors
hey,
going around
Steve,
about
there's
that.
always rumors. I know. Again, as my nickname says, I'm that guy. It's
Yeah.
You're
just
that guy.
I'm
He's
the one that's
that
going to sit
guy.
back and go.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
But all in all, I enjoyed it. I really did. I enjoyed I just had fun with it. I sat back and I thought, all right, well, I'm not going to pick this apart too much, but I wound up doing it anyway.
I had more fun watching it today than I did last night, just because Dan wouldn't shut up.
And isn't me, but I want to see a little bit more of the Hydra Smasher.
Oh, the Hydra Stomper.
Yes, Hydra Stomper.
Stomper,
So
I want to see a little bit more of that.
Are we looking at the original Hulk Smasher suit here? Are we looking at the original Iron Man suit?
We're
looking at the original Iron Man
We're
suit.
looking at the original Iron Man
it's a
suit.
dead
Because
rip for the Iron Man.
we have Howard Stark, who creates the first
Who
Iron
creates
Man
it?
suit.
Yep.
And he uses the Tesseract to power it.
Which I have to say, I'm also kind of sort of disappointed in the fact that they brought up the metal suit. I get it. I understand. It fits in the storyline. It's cool. All right, cool. I'm still disappointed in the fact I kind of expected, along the line of my tangents, to have Steve Rogers at some point become the Winter Soldier.
High five, man! High five! Yes.
Hey, but they still did. But they still kept the Captain America and sidekick dynamic going on.
When Bucky didn't fall off the train, I thought, okay, this would be a perfect opportunity for Steve Rogers to be the one that disappears and comes back later.
That's what I was waiting for. And to see him, he's just laying there on the floor, because this brings up the whole quandary of Bucky's story arc just kind of falling flat at this point. Half of Bucky Barnes' story arc is him as the Winter Soldier. It is a defining moment for this character, falling off that train, being found by Hydra. We already know he was experimented on before it all happened, so we know he was headed to super soldier direction. But now
he wasn't experimented on in this.
Yeah, so
he didn't fall off the train in this.
He didn't fall off the train, so he's lost his super soldier designation as it is. With this, he's lost his designation as a Winter Soldier.
But you know what?
Right now, you technically don't have an arc that the Winter Soldier fits into at all.
No, we don't. We don't have any Winter Soldier arc at this point.
And that's the whole premise of What If.
Oh. Damn you, Walt.
Steve is so dramatic.
That's
We're going to change your name to Steve.
Well, let's just all be a little bit melodramatic here. Should we all be like Howard Stark and be all a little melodramatic here for the rest of this show?
If you keep doing that, yes, please.
All right.
Oh,
you know what? I love young Howard Stark. I love that.
He is
It was
one of my
fun.
favorites.
Oh, my
he's one of
goodness.
my favorites.
Don't mind
It's-
me. Y'all go about doing what you're doing. I'll
Yeah.
be right here.
yeah. I was like, and here I am. First, I'm pissed that they didn't get the kiss, but then I'm like, okay, that was funny.
There were a lot of comedic instances in this thing that I adored. I mean, first of all,
since when does a dame learn to fight like that?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess today.
Yeah, today. Right.
No,
But
my
when she
favorite
first dumped that first crew truck, that soldier truck, and she says, "That was brilliant. Let's give it another go." And I was like, "Yes, let's."
That was such a British thing to say.
Her one-liners were perfect. The one I liked was when she's running. She runs up next to the motorcycle. She goes, "Oh, that looks like fun. Can I give it a try?"
Poof. Yeah. And you know what? My favorite fight scene, and Steve is probably going to agree with me with this, is that aerial fight scene.
Yep. I had another issue with that one.
I
don't feel so bad about being the controversial one, calling her a Mary Sue now.
I tried to warn you, Dad. I tried to warn you.
You know what? I loved it. I'm like sitting there looking at it, and I'm going, no. I'm like, but damn, that sure did look good.
Yeah, the Heinkel, the HE-111s looked amazing. The Spitfire looked amazing.
The Spitfires looked great.
Yeah. You'll always get me with airplanes. You always will. And,
me too.
But when she jumps off the back of the Hydra Stomper and somehow or another manages to continue in a straight line with the shield up in front of her, and then there's no... This is just an animation nitpick in that when she went through the nose of the Heinkel, and you know that the HE-111, that whole nose is nothing but glass, right?
Yeah.
She just poof, magically appeared in the cockpit. There was no shattering glass. There was no bending metal. There was no sound. She just magically appeared and started whipping everybody's butt. Well, okay, cool.
There's also no sound in space, Steve, but yet every sci-fi movie gives us sound.
And there's no fire. I get it. There's no fire in space because no oxygen to feed it. I get it. But come on.
And there can be only one, so there.
Now that
You're welcome.
Law. That is law.
Deep cut. No pun intended.
That's right.
I know, right? Oh my gosh. Okay, so Cthulhu?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I mean, why not? At this point, why not? And if it's what if it is?
But you know what? Here's the other thing. I thought it was pretty spot on that it was a tentacled creature coming after Hydra.
Yeah, coming after Hydra, yeah.
So,
but I was like, Cthulhu? I didn't know you were in this.
Yeah. And and I didn't get a chance to do research to find any Marvel characters that were tentacled. So
there's got to be somebody out there.
There's somebody out there. If you're watching,
there's got to be somebody.
Give us a note. Give us a note in the comment if you know of any tentacled Marvel supernatural characters.
Oh, I'm already looking it up.
Well, Captain Carter's statement of when the thing was coming through the portal, and she's like, "The tentacles are getting bigger. They're getting longer," and I'm like, "Well, yeah, it's coming out.
Yeah.
They're gonna."
Now,
again, maybe that's me being picky.
Here's another thing that I thought was pretty cool, and I hope they carry this on throughout the rest of the series because we're going to see her again. I hope she keeps the sword.
That was awesome.
I hope she keeps the sword,
especially when she comes out of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
With that friggin' Claymore, I was like, that was cool, and how British.
Exactly. When I saw that, I was like, yeah, I'm going to put that on my list of things to draw.
The only request I have for Hasbro is that when that figure comes out, it better come with the friggin' sword.
It better come with the sword. Yes, it better come with the sword. I hope you're watching, Hasbro.
But they don't come out until February.
Okay, so we do have one that is more. It's more related to Doctor Strange, actually. But it's called, go back up here to the top of the page, Shuma Gorath.
I know that name.
It's actually part of the multiverse. So that could have very well have been.
That might be who we saw.
Shuma Gorath, yeah. Yeah. We didn't get to see the one eye that
he
goes with
looks
him,
cool.
but yeah, Shuma Gorath. Let me see if I can get a good image of it. Show everybody here.
Ooh, what did the
Yeah.
calamari?
Oh my god! I was eating dinner when we were watching this, and Lucky pops off with "Who ordered the calamari?" and there went my drink everywhere.
Yeah.
I
There
had to pause it. I
There were a lot
did.
of good
And Howard Starks. You didn't tell me we'd be fighting real monsters.
Yeah, it's Howard.
Yeah, there's
Howard.
there. I mean that. I mean, for there's a lot in there to unpack for just 30 minutes.
Why is it not showing my picture?
Yeah.
Did you do share screen?
Yeah, I'm working on it.
That's one of the other issues I had with the fact that it's only 30 minutes. I mean, that you could have done that in an hour easily and not had as many plot holes and or questions that you do now. Of course, that's an obvious.
So this is Shuma Gorath for those of you out there wondering. This is the one we were talking about. This could possibly have been our tentacled super monster from the episode this week. Like I said, he's part of the multiverse, so maybe not. I don't know.
Maybe.
I'll take it.
I mean, we're supposed to be getting a version of Doctor Strange later on this season too. So
yeah. So
I'm going to go with this. This just might be Shuma Gorath.
Yeah. So
you know what? I'll throw my hat in on that.
All right. So consensus of opinion. We got Shuma Gorath going on here until we find out differently. Everybody say aye.
Get it?
Ayes have it. Those that oppose, shut up.
Shut up. I have it. All righty then. There we go. So okay, Shuma Gorath it is. Yes. There we go. Who ordered the calamari?
Yeah. But this was real. Like I said, I think this was really great. The whole bit about Howard Stark coming in. Oh yeah, this is the outfit they were going to give you for the USO tour thing. I just changed it up.
You're not very subtle, Howard. Well, yeah, neither is this.
Yeah, that shield. Yeah. Now I kind of want to know what the outfit looked like for the USO tour.
Yeah, prior to Howard beefing it up.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure pants weren't involved.
And I don't figure that skirt came down to the knees in that little USO outfit either. So
service heels.
Service heels. Yeah.
Service heels.
Oh yeah, that was another nice line. That you're not going to need those heels anymore.
I like the Dame and the Flying Buick. What was it? What was
the Hydra Stomper?
The Hydra Stomper.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
When he put
a Dame and a Flying Buick. Okay.
Okay.
And when he put "Hello from Brooklyn,"
Hello
from Brooklyn, that was cool. But yeah,
I got to admit the one-liners, especially Bucky's snarky one-liners throughout this entire episode was awesome. Going back to Howard and the missed kiss. Hey Rogers, I need you. Barnes stole a Jeep.
Yeah.
You too, Carter. Oh wait, go ahead. I'll just stay right here. Oh,
what was it? Oh, what were you two doing? Oh, wait.
Wait.
Yeah. I actually have another question. The designation that was on the side on the lapel of the Hydra Stomper, the C15,
C15,
was that any massive significance, or is that just a designation that Howard Stark just up and decided to do, much like
probably
did Mark 1?
There's probably significance in that.
I'm looking.
I'll have to look that up. Because I'm all about military designations, and if that has some kind of significance to something either in the past or in the future, I'd love to know about it.
I got a feeling that it may have something to do with Captain America, maybe Captain America issue 15, or who knows.
But Captain America.
That's usually what we find.
Right, he doesn't.
I'm just saying. I didn't mean to throw a weird.
Oh no, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you on that one. Oops.
But the suit, I mean, I'd love to put a side by side. I haven't done it yet, but I'd love to put a side by side up with the C-15 and Tony Stark's Mark 1.
Okay. Yes. Right, then that's what it is. The C-15 basically is basically Tony's Mark One.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they're remarkably similar. I just didn't know if there was any direct reasoning behind the designation C-15, or is that a 15th model of something, a robot line that's Howard Stark has designed up to that point? Because that came about remarkably fast in this
I would
episode,
venture
by
to
the
say
way.
probably yes. Considering how Tony always named his Mark One, Mark Two, up to Mark whatever, I don't even remember what number he left off on. Um, hey, you can nice. Um, yeah, that's all I'm finding on it.
Yeah,
Yeah, something for another time, I guess. But I had to pose the question.
and a good question it is, because I was thinking that same thing as well. What's the significance of C-15?
Another question: when Captain Carter helps up Bucky, and she says, "Oh, hey, you almost," or he says, "Woo, thanks, you almost ripped my arm off." Is that
Wink, wink.
Yeah?
Yeah, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Is that another instance where, maybe I'm not going to say he does become the Winter Soldier. Obviously not, but who does? I wanted it to be Steve Rogers.
No, because Steve Rogers has to. Hey, Sean, what's up?
Sean, man, hey, how's it going?
You feeling any better? Just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah, please let us know, man.
Yeah. I knew Steve Rogers nothing was going to happen to him, because he has to be the one. He has to be the heartbroken one at the end of the episode.
I just needed that twist. I mean, like I said,
honestly, I wanted that twist. I was looking for it. I was kind of hoping we'd see that, but
when nobody took the dive, literally no one took the dive off the train, they opened the door and they just missed it.
I'm the only one here that did not expect a Winter Soldier tie-in. Because I'm sorry.
I would have appreciated that more than an Iron Man tie-in. I really would have.
I don't know. I kind of liked the Iron Man tie-in because it's Howard.
It's Howard, and there needed to be, for this to be What If, there needed to be drastic changes.
I just don't think it was drastic enough. I'm just saying.
It needed to be drastic changes, and the invention of the Iron Man armor.
Yeah, the Hydra Stopper so early in the universe.
Yeah,
and quickly. That's what I mean. That's why I think it was already an existing line that Howard Stark had already started to design at some point, before perhaps the Captain America.
And you know what?
Even came across the line.
And when he mentions that the Tesseract was a source of power, and that he was probably had this suit sitting around, and he's like, that's the perfect thing that needs to power this thing. The Tesseract.
That could have been the only thing that that Howard was having a problem with all of the suits. He just had no way of adequately powering something that big.
I'll buy that, because in the movie, he tested on it. They just showed him testing the Tesseract.
Right.
That's a tongue twister.
And
just a little bit. They never went into depth in it at all.
Right. And then that also makes you think about the remember the World's Fair, and he was debuting his floating car.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And unbeknownst to most, because they never showed it in any of the movies other than the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show. What is it? In the Winter Soldier, Fury tried to activate his flying SUV, and it
wouldn't work. Yeah,
it was damaged. So, that's that little thing where there's one of his inventions that needed something extra for it to actually work, and he found it.
All right, yeah, I'll buy that. Yeah.
So,
glad you're feeling better, Sean.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Cough's no good, man.
No
good. Get rid of that pronto. I enjoyed it. I want more. I'm looking forward to the next episode.
On the next episode, I believe that is the one with T'Challa becoming Star-Lord.
Star-Lord.
So that's going to be an interesting one. Unfortunately, it is also our last outing with Chadwick Boseman. So sad face on that
Or
one.
the start, because there's going to be more episodes with his character.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this show was his last thing.
This was his last thing. So this particular episode coming up has a kind of special place in my heart because of that. So.
Yep. If you don't get the feelers just from hearing his voice, you have no soul.
Yeah, no joke. No joke.
No soul.
All right. So I think that's all we got on this half-hour episode for What If until next week. So what else we got going on, guys?
I'm going to give a special shout out to some shows that are out there right now that we don't cover here on Spoiler Alert that we probably should be covering on Spoiler Alert, but we're not gonna. So today was today HBO Max dropped the first 3 episodes of season 3 of Titans.
Oh, sweet. Nice.
What?
So if you haven't seen the first 2 seasons of Titans, get on it. I will say this from my personal point of view, my personal thoughts. The first 3 episodes of Titans, the acting is really, really flat until Beast Boy comes into the picture, and then it seems the acting seems to liven up a little bit.
That's this season?
That's the first season. In the first season.
Oh yeah, agreed.
Another pet peeve I have with Titans, and is the just frivolous use of the F-bomb. I mean, sometimes they throw in the F-bomb in places where it's like, that wasn't necessary there. But, it's in there. Sometimes it feels like they use it just because they can.
Puffy Amayumi make a cameo appearance? That's what I want to know.
No. Crypto the Superdog is back.
Yes!
I love Crypto the Superdog. I watch it just for that. I
love Crypto.
But yeah, the season 3 just dropped today. I think, I'm not sure, what is it? Bad Batch episode 16 is tomorrow. I think it's the season finale. It's part 2 of a 2-part story arc. I think it's the season finale. Be sure to watch that. It's really big. So
if you haven't watched Bad Batch at all, you need to go back and watch it.
You need to go back and watch it.
It is very well done, and especially if you're a Clone Wars fan, because it really captures some of the essence of the Clone Wars series, just centered around this group of clones, though, and it's just it's really, really well done.
Yeah, in fact, it starts up like right. We're talking like
days after Order 66.
It's not even days. It's like right there in the middle of everything that happens in the last episode of Clone Wars.
Yeah,
so,
you're right. It does. You're right.
And if you like cameos, if you've watched Rebels, the first episode has a cameo of Kanan from Rebels. As a Padawan, so you get to see why he has a distrust of clones, and that's the only spoiler I'm giving you on that one. And in fact, you're gonna have to watch the season. Yeah, because it's really good. I mean,
speaking of drama,
what you got?
Beth with the whole drama.
Oh, melodrama. I'm just gonna throw it away. Me too.
Yeah. Bad Batch is. I'm with Walt on this Bad Batch. I have not enjoyed Star Wars. I'm not a fan of the last 3 movies. I liked Han, the Han Solo movie. I liked Rogue One. I love Mandalorian, and I love Bad Batch. And those 2 particular TV shows has restored my faith in Star Wars.
I wasn't a fan of the Resistance series either.
I haven't watched. I think the Resistance is that series is one I have not watched, and I haven't watched all of Rebels. I've watched some, but I haven't watched all of Rebels.
Resistance lasted 2 seasons, and I can't believe that it got a second season. But that's a story that takes place just before episode 7.
Okay.
So, and it's
after Return. If it's after Return of the Jedi, I don't care.
It's years after Return of the Jedi. It's years after The Mandalorian.
Steve, Walt has heard this rumble from me about them taking the books and turning them into the alternative universe.
Yeah, they mutilated it.
Okay, I have an issue as a writer. I have a big issue with that.
I heard a power down.
Yeah, I did too. That was weird.
That was a car outside my house.
I was like, how appropriately
it's
placed.
like, do we have Imperial walkers somewhere that you all forgot to tell me about? Like, thanks, guys. Okay.
It's one of the neighborhood tuners with a fart can.
Oh, great. But no, Walt's heard me go on this tangent. As an author, what Disney did was insulting. So for me, anything after Return of the Jedi, if it is not part of the book series, I don't care.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Mando. I mean,
it's the only thing. I love Mando.
There's a few things.
There's a T-shirt in that, by the way.
There's a few things that I think that would be okay. Like if you didn't know, I'm pretty sure we are going to be doing the spoiler alert for the Ahsoka series.
I really hope we are.
Yeah.
And if you've watched Rebels and how that ended, Ahsoka is trying to find what's his face? Oh no, I can't remember the blue skin Admiral. Crap! I can't believe
Admiral Thrawn.
Admiral Thrawn. Now the way they wrote Admiral Thrawn in Rebels was spot on.
Yeah, that he is one of the few characters that they've kept from the quote unquote legends.
Yeah.
That I am glad to see they have not changed because he is such a dynamic character to begin with. So
I mean, he can.
Yeah, Dirk, if you hear us, we're doing that series.
We are going to do Ahsoka. We're going to do a spoiler alert for Ahsoka.
Yeah,
that's on the list.
Definitely.
Just make a list.
It has to be. It has to be.
This is probably the most hollow threat I will ever issue in my entire life, but I swore to myself that I was going to ignore everything having to do with the Star Wars universe until Rogue Squadron hits. And mainly because I am so stinking excited about that show that I find it hard to watch The Bad Batch or to go back in and watch Rebels, et cetera, just because I'll lose my focus.
No, you won't. Honestly,
no,
you won't.
You won't.
You won't.
No,
you won't.
It'll
make you even more excited for Rogue Squadron. Rogue Squadron is long overdue at this point.
Really. Like I said, hollow threat. Walt, you know me. I'll be going. No, I'm not going to do that. No, I'm not. Okay, let's go do that.
Because I find myself every once in a while going back and watching, binge watching whole seasons of Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Because the writing in that series was so.
It's outstanding.
It's outstanding.
Yeah.
And then I went back and I watched all of Rebels, and you want to talk about also outstanding, I'm like sitting there watching, it's like, okay, what are they going to do with this, and everything. And then, as you're watching it, spoiler alert, Rex, Captain Rex is still alive. Spoiler alert, Captain Rex was in Return of the Jedi, and all this stuff. And you're like, okay, I'm just sitting there just like, yes, this is great. This was great stuff. So
what's funny was when Dan and I finished Clone Wars, we were both questioning whatever happened to Rex, whatever happened to Cody. Excuse me. And so seeing Rex show up on Bad Batch, we were both like, yeah. Because we finally, you finally get an answer, and
but because of Rebels, we knew Rex survived.
Yeah.
I don't know about y'all, but I'm expecting a banner to pop up any second from either Dirk or Sean going, this was about what if, not Star Wars.
Well, we already covered what if.
Steve, have you not watched Spoiler
I
Alert?
totally have.
And you know what? We had a few minutes to kill, so we were going to try and keep this an hour. We had a few minutes to kill. So, you have to put that comment up there, Beth. You have to put that comment up because yes, Filoni is God.
Filoni is a
Filoni
god.
is God. That is
Filoni,
the Star Wars.
Filoni, Favreau, and Feige is the holy trinity right now.
Truth.
Oh, I missed the note where Dirk said he's doing an epic illustration. I can't wait. During my time with TFG, I've become a monster fan of Dirk's drawings.
See, Sean understands. Sean feels us.
Yes,
he feels us.
It's a multiversal problem.
It's not to imply that I don't. I mean, I've been on some of these episodes.
Oh, there's another comment. Yes.
Boom.
We never stick to the topic.
We never stick to the topic.
Never stick to the topic.
I've been on enough of these episodes to realize that I'm just as bad as anything of living on a tangent. So,
well, what it is we get the topic out of the way, and then we hang out.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Well, what's been the longest one? I mean, we tipped one spoiler alert at what, almost 3 hours? Because we just kept on going.
Right. We got to talk about freelancing and doing work and all that stuff.
You should.
Which is probably where we should head to right now.
But going back to what if? What
if I was actually doing work right now?
Yeah. What if? Yeah. Same here. What if I was actually? What if I was actually employed right now? I definitely would not be here doing this show, wouldn't I? Would I? No. But luckily,
or would you?
Or would we?
What if?
What on the Thursdays that I'm like I took today off knowing that I was hosting this. I took this afternoon off. Wow. But on the Thursdays when I am working, I actually schedule my lunch for 3 to 4.
Nice.
Just so I can do this.
Nice.
And the funny thing is my boss knows why I schedule my lunch from 3 to 4 on a Thursday afternoon.
That's a cool boss.
Yeah.
Tell your boss that they're cool. And I'm available for employee.
I keep looking, man. I keep looking. I have been keeping an eye out. As soon as something comes up, I'm sending it your direction. You know.
I will say this for the spoiler alert shows, though, is that I'd had a long-standing policy of not watching shows, particularly like Netflix or any of the Disney Plus shows, until the whole thing was done, because I didn't want to have to wait from 1 week to the next to wait for that next episode. Mm-hmm. Well, it turned out that as I started watching these, I started, good damn it, I need to be up to date. I need to know what these people are talking about. And Dirk, I told you about it before, is that you've run enough episodes to where I can listen, but I can't listen because I didn't want anything to be spoiled. Well, not anymore. I'm watching all these episodes as they come out. I'm going to be here 3:00 on Thursdays, and
we have a convert.
That's right.
I'll tell you this: as much as as convenient as it is that Netflix drops all the episodes down and you can binge watch them at one time, I like the idea of having an episode once a week so that you can have the water cooler moment.
Yes.
And you can still have the water cooler moment over the extent of a season. You just lose detail.
Well, yeah, I know. Yeah, that's the thing. Is like I like to be able to, for 1 week go, hey, did you see this? And then like one day I'm talking to somebody, the next day I'm talking to somebody else, and then go and can't wait to see that next episode. I would even be satisfied if it was like a daily thing, like the old, back in the days when, cartoons were syndicated and you had to show up, rush home to get home.
Same bad channel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I like the idea of having something exciting to look forward to the next day.
Since I started doing this, Dan and I have actually, we actually sit down 2 nights a week and watch TV together. and he may not always want to watch these shows, but he does it in support of me because he knows I do this and he knows how much I love doing it. So
That's exactly right, Dirk. That's exactly right. Not that
I'll
one.
show that one in a minute.
Yeah, his point about the water cooler moment, I absolutely agree.
Yes. Especially in the COVID-19 world that we're living in, we don't have a lot of water cooler moments anymore.
Okay,
No.
so take what I said, shred it up, throw it the hell out, because everything, it's just been shot completely to hell, and that's fine. I have absolutely no problem. I really don't have any problem with that, because that's why TFG has become such a really cool time of my week, is because it gives me the opportunity to sit down and talk to people of a like mind. I love my wife, but she's a Hallmark Channel.
And making making larger families.
And making larger families, yes.
Yes. And that's why I enjoy this so much. Walt will tell you all day long. He's known me since we were 18. So
I'm sorry.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
1989.
So that I'll sit down and I'll talk this stuff all day long. I may not know exactly what it is that anyone is talking about, but I'll certainly give it a shot, and I'm learning every day. So that's
I think some of our
TFG.
coworkers hated us when Walt and I got started.
I can't imagine why.
There were a few who wanted to get in on it.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure there were a few who wanted to get in on it.
Probably.
You know.
Well, and I miss those conversations at TR. I mean, we'd be yelling at each other across the room. What do you think? Shut up! No,
yeah,
those were great conversations.
Now, what's interesting with me is that I was in various groups who watch various shows, different shows. So like there's the group who were the Marvel fans,
which I was part of.
Right. And then, Handmaid's Tale came out, and then there's the group who watched The Handmaid's Tale, which I was in that group too. Then there's the Doctor Who group. Now, see, here's the other thing.
Which I was part of.
I don't watch a lot of Doctor Who, but I am familiar with Doctor Who. And if you bring something up to me about something that happens in Doctor Who, I may not have seen the episode, but if you say, oh, yeah, the Daleks were here, I'm like, cool. Tell me about it. I know all about the Daleks,
Mm-hmm.
Or if you say the Cybermen, cool. Tell me all about what happened. Yep. I know who they are. And then I will tell you, it's like, was there an episode with K9? If there's an episode with K9, I'm going to go back and watch that one because I'm a K9 fan.
I love K9. Love K9.
Well, I will watch. I'm in my big blue box as we speak.
Right. I will watch.
In case you didn't.
If there are episodes,
big blue box.
If there are episodes that just feature K9, I will just watch those episodes with K9.
Oh, what do I do with him?
And I know he had a series.
HBO Max. It is on from 9 to 13 is on HBO Max, Dirk.
Well, then you had the Sarah Jane Adventures, where K9
which I think is also on HBO Max.
Yes,
which K9 was on constantly. So,
and then
he became.
There you go.
Don't make me go get my number 4, okay? Here he goes.
Take your pick.
Yeah. Hold on. Hold that box up again, Steve.
Oh, gee, no, hang on.
Let's see. Oh, yeah, I see a 4.
Yeah.
There's 9. You got a 10 in there.
Yeah.
Yep.
10/11.
10/11. You got a 13?
Oh. Please.
Yes. I love hers. Nice.
I hate it. I don't know why. Anyway.
Oh, there you go.
This is my favorite.
Oh, yes. You gotta put that comment up there from Dirk there, that last one.
This one?
The implication there is that I have a problem. You're exactly right.
That's like the meme I posted today. It's like, I'm not paying $30 for a shirt, but then there's also me with a big stack of a shelf full of Godzilla action figures. You know, that
That's me with the Captain
that are
America
that are all
Yeah.
priced right around $30 each.
Yeah.
I said that for the longest time, and then Bandai started coming out with all those Macross toys, and then Mardo of Spain came out with a perfectly decent replica of Duncan MacLeod's Highlander katana. My price limits went through the roof, but that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
We all have our
Okay.
vices.
Okay. So.
Oh
so
God!
somebody
Yes,
fill me in on this. What is this?
it's
Star
so
Blazers.
cool.
Oh man, I cannot wait to see that.
Well, you
What am
posted
I-
the trailer to the group site, did you not?
Okay, I'll have to
I
go look
posted
at
the
it.
trailer to the group site.
Oh
It's
my
all.
God.
It hasn't been translated or dubbed yet, but man, it's a series that ran in the late '70s,
Mhm.
and basically it's the anime series that introduced us to serious, dramatic, episodic animation,
Space soap operas.
space soap operas.
Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna have to go check that out. That sounds
And,
about
Well, it
right.
looks to me. Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks to me like basically just a redo of the original series.
Yes, it basically what they've been doing is they've rebooted the original series, and I think this is that very rare third season
Mm-hmm.
that we got it really late. I want to say late in like maybe the mid '90s or something like, or
There was
late '80s or mid '90s.
There was Iskandar. There was the Comet Empire.
Right,
And
the
then
Bolar Wars.
The Bowler Wars.
The
Yes.
Bolar Wars. So this, I think, it looks like it's the Bolar Wars redone. And
Apparently, I am so totally missing something
See,
here.
it looked more like Iskandar to me.
well, Iskandar was the
West for
first season,
Iskandar.
though.
I know, but it looked at the art and I don't know, some of the scenes that were in it looked a lot like Iskandar to me. And of course, then again, there were a lot of instances in that whole series that looked like they repeated themselves.
Yeah,
But I didn't care because it was freaking awesome.
it's the all new animation redone, and oh my, like I said, anytime somebody asks, hey, what's a good anime that I should watch, and I say, yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Here, wait, let me see if I can do that. Let me see if I can do the good camera fade up. There we go. There we go.
There it is. Yeah. And the yeah. Exactly. That was one of those shows.
Robotech.
Yeah.
My mom did the same thing with Robotech. She was like, "This is like a daytime soap opera, but in space and animated." I'm like, "Yeah."
Exactly.
See, my mom did not understand sci-fi. I mean, she had a problem following Star Trek, and we were all like, "What is wrong with you?" And then there was my grandmother who would turn on Battlestar Galactica and Buck Rogers for me and let me watch it downstairs. She'd be sitting there crocheting or knitting. Grandpa was in bed. Mom was watching her stuff upstairs. I'm sitting on the floor.
Yeah, glued to the TV set.
Buck Rogers and Battlestar Galactica, and Grandma was always like, "Did you enjoy the show?" Yeah, Grandma.
Did you enjoy your shows? That was my mom.
Is everybody okay on your show? She didn't understand anything about it, but she was always concerned about the characters.
My mom had no interest in any of the TV I ever watched. It was Dukes of Hazzard, Airwolf, Blue Thunder, et cetera, et cetera. And then when I got to TNG, when that first episode aired in 1987, I was so freaked out about it. She was like,
"You know what?
Go to my room and watch it back there."
I didn't want to like TNG, and then that first episode, that was it. That's all she wrote.
All they showed me was the ship, and I was in.
That was must see TV at my house. Me, my parents both sat down in front of the TV set to watch that. In fact, when that show came out is when I started my freshman year in college, and I would go home for the weekends. I did not leave the house until after TNG. And TNG came on at 10:30 after the news.
My dad watched TNG with me because again, Mom really didn't understand Star Trek and everything.
Yeah.
She'd watch a couple of episodes because she liked Patrick Stewart, knowing him from different, British TV shows. But Dad and I were the ones that watched TNG together.
I think Star Blazers was actually I think Battle of the Planets was where I started, but I think Star
Yeah.
Blazers was actually what hooked me because
Right.
the idea of that much weekly. Okay, see, this is the whole. This I'm looping myself back into the whole come back next week for the next episode thing. That kept me coming back. Robotech was the same way, even though Robotech aired 6:30 every morning. We were piping in channel 11, I think, from Dallas. But Star Blazers hooked me as far as Japanese animation is concerned, anime, because the mecha, that's where I got my draw for all the robots, the ships, everything. I mean, come on, you take a World War II cruiser or destroyer, battleship, excuse me, and turn it into a spaceship.
That was the most ingenious thing in the world.
Okay.
See, somewhere there, I must have had some sort of disconnect somewhere, because as a kid I watched Battle of the Planets, but I've never seen seen the Star Blazers.
Battle of the Planets in and of itself had its share of badass mecha. I mean, the Phoenix.
Yeah. Now here's the thing. Here's the thing about Battle of the Planets.
And it was a Transformer.
If you ever get to see the uncut Japanese version of that, you'll be like, holy amazeballs, why did they cut this stuff out?
Oh, yeah, I would love to see that. Yeah. I would love to see
Gatchaman is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And infinitely more violent.
Infinitely more violent. And the stories are, and the story is better as well.
Which answers your question though, Walt, as to why they cut it down so much, is because it was being brought in by, I don't even remember what the production company was, but
Sandy Frank.
Thank you. And then, of course, you brought in Casey Kasem.
Now, I will say all the voices that they had, with I think with the exception of Kiop, I can't remember his name. All of those voices were famous actors.
Yeah.
Which I thought was cool. I was fine with that. You had Janet Waldo as Princess.
I know you had a poster of 7 Sark 7 on your wall when you were a kid.
No.
Okay, maybe not.
I did have a Battle of the Planets coloring book, and I never colored any of his pages.
Here's the funny thing. I remember as a kid when I lived in England for a year and a half, I was between 8 and 10, which is about when Battle of the Planets was on, and they were just getting it over there, and some of the kids I hung out with started getting into it. And I remember, running around the playground playing Battle of the Planets. Mm-hmm. And yes, I was always Princess. Thank you very much. Before y'all even ask, because I know you will. But somewhere along the line, man, I missed out on some of the other stuff. So
I was always
Star Blazers. I think was, like I said, it was what really hooked me. And then when Robotech came in, I was done.
Yeah, I think Robotech was like. It was like, we haven't seen anything like this since Star Blazers.
I mean, Transformers came out before Robotech ever even thought about hitting these shores. But I never got into Transformers as much as I did Robotech. Because,
I got into Transformers,
Well, there was that serious airplane tie-in with me. If you know anything about me at all, if it has wings and an engine, I'm going to freak out.
Yeah, the two of you.
So when I saw the Veritech Valkyrie for the first time, that was by far the coolest thing I had ever seen.
So for me, Steve, I'm going to go even further back with Robotech than you on this. So for me, and I know Sean and Dirk are watching, Toys by Roy in Crossroads Mall. It's a toy hobby shop in Crossroads Mall way back in the day. I saw this model kit in the window that I thought was an F-14, Jolly Rogers model kit. I had to have it.
Wow.
So I go in the store, and I think at the time it was something like $8 or $9. $8 or $9. I go in the store.
That's extravagant, Walt.
Yeah, I go in the store and I buy it.
Then, yeah.
And I get home and I find out that no, it's not an F-14 Tomcat. It's this transforming plane that turns into a robot. So, and this was
plane, half robot.
Half plane, half robot. And this was like maybe before I was in middle school at the time. when I bought this, like maybe in 8th grade. And then jump up 3 years later, in high school, here's Robotech hitting the show, and I'm like, hitting the shores, and I'm like, oh my God, that's that model kit that I have at home.
Yeah. Yeah. And and literally, I think that's what my initial tie-in was, oh my God, that plane is badass. Look what it can do. Look at all the things it can do. And then suddenly, then you get Rick Hunter's fan jet, and then you get, even Foker's
special. Yeah.
And then you get Foker's special, and then you get the Angel Birds, the demo team. What?
Max and Miria, they get married and they get blue and red.
Yeah, I mean, you put the skull and crossbones on Foker's VF1S, and it's magic because it came out about the same time. I think the Final Countdown. And that's when I first
which featured the Jolly Rogers. Yeah,
with their Tomcats, and I thought, wow, that's cool. And so
and that was intentional. It was intentional because of the Jolly Rogers too. So
here
that's even
50 years old, and I haven't let go of it yet.
Do I need to let you guys have a moment alone here?
I need a cigarette, is what I need.
Ditto.
Not literally.
Wow.
Figuratively.
Wow, you two are hysterical.
But
so, Wall, is there any other shout-outs we need to think about or spoilers for TV shows that we need to think about?
Those are the only two that I know of that are of significance. But yeah, those of you who are Titans fans, be sure to watch those first 3 episodes. I've watched the first 2, and gotta say, it's very interesting.
All right, I gotta go. I gotta watch. No,
they're introducing 2 new. They introduced 2 new characters in the first 2 episodes, or in the first episode. So
cool.
I don't have any shout outs, but I posted it in the group earlier this week, maybe yesterday, maybe the day before, I don't remember. But Alex Cord, who played Archangel in Airwolf, that breaks my freaking heart. Because
he was the last one, wasn't he? Because
No, Michael Vincent's gone, but Jean Bruce Scott is still around, and the lady that played Archangel assistant. Of course, there were 100 of them, but
the two girls are still around, but the 3 main guys are gone. Yeah,
Dominic's gone. But yeah, that broke my heart. And the fact that he just lived right up the road here from Dallas really killed me. That was by far my favorite show of the '80s, and
same here.
And just a heartbreaker for me.
Yeah.
All right, rest in peace, Archangel.
Rest in peace, man. Rest in peace. All right, Walt, you want to take over and tell everybody where they can find you?
Sure. Let's see. You want to break out there? You can find me at these places here. And be sure to, if you want, you can go and buy my stuff. You can go and buy my stuff. I know I'm actually quite shocked that Beth, you didn't wear the shirt today. No,
that's for the next thing I'm doing today.
Okay, so
I told you I was saving it for that.
Okay. So if you hadn't noticed, if you've been to the group page or my own personal page, I've got these Robo Girls shirts, and there's just some characters that I made up there, spoofs of your favorite transforming robots, but they're just as girls who are my little anime cosplaying girls here. So anyway, and also I have got, if you want some of my, oh crap, it's like zooming in for some reason. Anyway,
what did you do?
I have no idea. I have no idea why that happened.
Well, quick question: is there anywhere on the internet that you're not? I'm sitting here looking at that roster, and I'm thinking, wow.
Yes. I'm probably going to get on the comic artist board, freelance comic artist board here soon. So also I've got stickers. I know how Dirk likes stickers, so Dirk, there you go. There's stickers now. You can get some of my stickers. And that's that's about it for me.
All right, Steve, you got anything?
Literally, I have a whole lot of nothing except for my own personal website where I do freelance graphic design, logos, any ad work, anything really, narration, voiceover work. The number 9 ONE8art.com, 918art.com. That's where you can find me. I've got Instagram, but it is boring. I've got Facebook, and then I do nothing but post hilarious memes all day long and random opinions. So that
And
really
Highlander stuff.
and Highlander stuff, yes,
and Doctor Who stuff.
Yes.
not so much Doctor Who right now, although that's another conversation for another time. But Jodie Whittaker and Chibnall are leaving the series, thank God, and so that's another episode for another time. But that's me, 918art.com.
All right, and if you're looking for me, you can find me at my website, bethanfreely.com and or themusesfunhouse.com. The Muses Funhouse is my business where I do book editing and website design. So if you need a website built, hit me up. Let's talk. bethanfreely.com is where you can find all of my books. You can also find me on Facebook, Twitter, Goodreads. Buy me a coffee if you're looking to help support an author and you want to get in on reading my next novel before it's published. Subscribe for a $5 a month membership, and you'll get all sorts of fun freebies. But that's everywhere where you can find me. And starting this week, you can find me at Taskforce Geek Book Crew. Nice. Hopefully the first episode will be up and out by Saturday. As a matter of fact, when I get off of here, I'm going to finish up what I need to do for it and get it ready for everybody. So, yeah, if you're looking for some, writing tips, tricks, and just want to, hear from other authors and everything, join us. We'll have a little bit of fun with that.
I just need a list of good reads.
I can send you free. As long as you don't mind romance.
Well, you know what? We talked about this before, but I'll take some more of that Highlander fanfic.
Give me some time, man. Let me see what I can do with it. For those of you who wondered, one of the very first fan fictions I ever wrote and finished was a Highlander fanfic, which I did wind up sending to Steve. And
you hated it, but I loved it. I had so much fun with it.
I'm glad you had fun with it. I wrote it.
This is so gooey, but this is awesome.
I wrote it a long time ago. My writing has matured considerably since then, so it'd be interesting to see what I could do with Duncan and crew now. So,
well, it's got to be better than the movie writers. Come on.
Amen to that, brother.
you could just take your existing story and flesh it out more.
That's probably what I'll wind up doing one day. So
just take that existing
story. That's what I suggested. It's time for a rewrite. I think it'd be awesome.
Let me get Beyond the Steps of Stone finished first, and that's the one I'm rewriting right now. So I'm working on it, man. I'm working on it.
Let's get those last comments out there. I don't think we got those last comments out there.
Let's see. This goes back to talking about Star Blazers, I think.
Yes.
Apparently, it's Amaze Balls.
The new episodes of Star Blazers or Yamato are ridiculous. That the art is amazing. I could watch those on loop.
And then, of course, Dirk and Sean are showing their love for
Toys by Roy.
Hey, was this Toys by Roy? Was this just an independent retailer?
It was an independent retailer in Oklahoma City. They had 2 locations, and they were in malls that were totally opposite of each other in town. And it was the only place where you could get, at the time, it was the only decent place where you could get model kits, toys, and I'm going down the line. Rare model kits, rare toys, RC airplanes, cars, boats, you name it.
I had 6 separate stores for that in Tulsa. I'm super jealous.
Yeah, they have separate stores for that here too. But I remember those types of stores. They were awesome.
They were awesome. I mean, they were pricey, but they got things that were hard to find, and it was worth it. So
apparently they also had a Starship Trooper board game that Dirk wanted really bad.
Well, eBay, buddy.
Yeah,
I bet you can probably find it now.
Yeah, Toys Toys by Roy was the place to go, and then when they went out of business, it broke my heart. Broke my
Oh,
heart.
I'm sure. And just so you all know, that board game was based on the books, not the movies. Important
even
to
better.
know.
It's important. It's
Yes.
important to know.
Yes. So, well, if you guys don't have anything else,
Nothing.
I think this is a wrap. So I'm Beth Freely, Beth who ordered the calamari freely, for Steve, that guy Shanks, and Walt
Ooh.
Thompson.
No
I'm just a
S.
regular guy.
No S.
No S.
No
Shank,
S on the end
sorry.
of shank.
I'm going to shank you.
Been
I'll
dealing with
remember
that my whole
now.
life. No S.
That's all right. Everybody wants to add an extra E into Freely, so we're good.
and people want to get rid of the son and leave it as Thomas whenever they say my last name, and I just don't respond.
Oh, we'll just call you Tom.
No, Thompson.
Tom.
Yeah, it's always been Thompson.
Yeah.
You're just Walt. You're the Walt man. But anyway, this is Beth for Taskforce Geek. Spoiler alert. And until next week, take care, and don't forget to watch the next What If. We'll see you then. Bye.
Peace out. Hope.